So I'm talking to this old Army buddy of mine not too long ago, and he says, hey, once I got out, was able to get it, gainfully employment, and got a job, got a place to live. People say, wow, you've made this successful transition. You've done it. And he said, I hate that. I don't know why people say that. He said, I like to say that I continue to successfully transition day by day. Boom, light bulb. And all of a sudden I thought, wow, I can relate to that. That's exactly how things were for me. So at one point, I go, and unfortunately for me, but I had to hang up the uniform. And at that point, I started thinking, okay, now what? I had all these aspirations. I knew I wanted to go to school. I knew there was a GI Bill. One of the reasons why I was interested in joining the service. I knew all these kind of things. But when I came outside of the gate, I finally realized there are 40,000 service organizations to support veterans or military or their families. 40,000. Outstanding, right? Tons of support. How do I access it? Is it focused? How do I get to it? I don't know. Nobody handed me the book. Nobody told me where to go. 2 months out, I'm sick. Uh-oh. Where do I go to the doctor? Who do I call? Where's the pharmacy? I don't have an ID card. When I was in the military, doctor here, this is what time it is, this is where you go, get this piece of paper, go get your medication, get back to work, most of the time. On the outside world, I had no clue. It took forever. Phone book, for those of you who don't know what the phone book is, but you open that up, or you get online, you check it out. You're going here, you're going there, you're trying to find out. Same thing with college education. I went to 4 different schools while I was in the military. I went to 2 more outside of the military before I even got my bachelor's degree. It's not because I didn't know I had that. It's because I didn't know how to get to it. I had no clue. So I'm starting to kind of make this journey, and I'm going through things, and all of a sudden I'm kind of in the car doing my thing, and I look back and I realize my wife and my kids are here too. So I didn't just hang up the uniform. We all did. Little things that no one ever thinks about unless you're in the military. All of a sudden, someone tells you, oh, now you're in the state of, let's say, Georgia. By the way, you don't have that military ID card anymore. You better have a Georgia driver's license. When you find that out? Most time, not in the best of circumstances. Because nobody told me, and nobody told the others. Same thing with your children. Same thing with what school they can go to, what curriculum they're in. Again, these are all things that we knew. 40,000 organizations out there want to help. How can I access them? How can my family access them? So one of the things that I try to do is I took this concept of, hey, let's bring something together. Call it a one-stop shop. Call it whatever you will. But let's bring something physically together that takes all of these resources, and I've done it at the institution of higher learning where I work. And so now I've got people that can come there and say, hey, I need to work on my disability benefits. Hey, I don't understand what to do with this college thing. Hey, I'm not quite sure about VA housing. How does that even work? So we've got people there that are trained, that volunteer, that come in, and if we can't, I don't want to say solve your problem or point you in the right direction, we know who to talk to. You will not leave without knowing where to go. So why can't we do that everywhere, right? Why can't we scale that? There's 40,000 organizations. In my particular situation, do I need to deal with this one? Maybe not. Maybe I don't have an issue with homelessness at this particular time. Good to know that it's out there, right? That's a great concept. That's a great thing. But at the same time, how do I get access to them? So the idea, again, is that if we can scale this, and we can bring these organizations together, and we can say, hey, when you come out of the service, nobody's handing you the manual, nobody's putting you right in touch with, go here, go there. You're going to get the warm and fuzzy. Everybody's going to be happy, and you're going to move right on. Oh, by the way, this is how you write a resume. You never bought a suit? No, never needed a suit. All these little things that people just wouldn't think about normally. So these are the kind of things that guide, that one-stop shop, if you will, and coming out of the service can just help guide you in that right direction. just point you. Nobody's saying give the handout and all that kind of stuff. We're not talking about victimizing the transitioning service member or their families or anything like that. It's just, hey, you got all these resources, everybody wants to help. How about a consolidated effort, at least to a certain extent? So with that consolidated effort, I can tell you, going back to GI Bill, yes, took forever. I can't even begin to tell you. Letters. Oh, a computer thing came up. Somebody had to show me how to do that because that wasn't even a thing. Finally, yes, bachelor's, master's, so on. Great. But it took forever to navigate that system. Add in disabilities. Add in life insurance. Add in things like I said, where do I go get my medication? Who knows? And it's literally that far. Who knows? That just like the driver's license, what about the plate? I can drive anywhere I want. I can have a driver's license. My plate on the car can say Massachusetts all day long. You're going to get out of the military and live here? Better have a Georgia tag real quick. Where are you going to vote? All these things. And it's things that just people wouldn't normally think about. So when I'm looking in that car and I see my wife and both my daughters there, all of a sudden, what about them, right? Their health care. Where do they go to school? How's the curriculum change? My wife happens to be a nurse. When you work with the military, nursing license in South Carolina, nursing license in Germany. As long as you're on the base, good to go. Guess what? Not now. Take that away. So it's a totally different scenario. The biggest thing that we run into is, again, all these organizations out there. So it's not necessarily a lack of, hey, we want to help. Hey, we want to point you in the right direction. Hey, we want to help you make this positive transition from military, you hung up that uniform, into civilian life, which you all are civilians. So into that civilian life, but how are we going to make that successful reintegration? How is it that I hang up the uniform and wear this uniform? Or my children go to school and we're parked next to you in the driveway? Or my wife is working at the same place that you are working at? Or we know where to go to daycare, or we know where to go to the doctor, we know where to go to the pharmacy, whatever the case may be. Now we're starting to align ourselves with what you all would call normal things. So at the end of the day, these men and women have dedicated their lives, or at least a portion of their lives, to protecting our freedoms and to serving our country. And we owe it to them to find out what we can do collectively to help serve them.